Today in r/malicious compliance. Divorcing couple ignores my advice, the other one uses it as playbook. It barely qualifies as malicious compliance, but I couldn't find a better place for it, and as a rule, says it's broad. On Facebook, one of my friends had her stepmom tag her, and so the post showed up on my timeline. It was an image from her dad to the stepmom saying that he wanted their address so that he could send them Christmas cards and gifts to her kids. Included in it was her tirade about how he was filing for divorce and all he wanted was her address so that he can have her served, and she went on for like 2 paragraphs calling him names and refusing to give the address, and that if he was a real man things would be different. I would love to link the image, but far too late. She has now removed the post, just so long and ranting I can't remember all the content. I made the first mistake of thinking somebody who's completely upset at their soon-to-be ex would listen to reason. I posted, I understand she's really upset, that there's a lot of emotional things going on. I don't know everything that happened, it doesn't matter, but I would highly recommend her removing that post, because if it was brought into court, it could look really bad. Which proceeded in me being cussed out by her and involving myself in something that doesn't concern me and a couple other family members, just telling me to f off. My action now is malicious compliance. I responded to everyone just explaining that she has now posted online publicly tagging him and every family member known to existence so that shows up on my timeline. If it's on my timeline, it's mine, so I can respond if I want to. But she's showing to be verbally and emotionally abusive, as well as refusing service of a legal document. My state tends to take facilitating the court proceedings pretty important. You're okay with messing up on documents and stuff here, but whenever you actually do something purposely and knowingly, the delays proceedings or makes them have to work extra hard to hunt you down or anything, they get pretty ticked off. And I kept trying to tell them I had no idea what was going on. I don't care, but something they failed to realize was neither does the judge or the jury that will be there. Several responses included how horrible this man was. How he was a drug addict, how he just left her without a house and homeless, and her life was better without him. And I patiently explained none of that matters. What matters is what you prove in court. To which everyone explained it didn't matter. Everyone knew this. I tried to explain to they look at that as hearsay. There's a difference in legal theory and legal practice, and what matters is what you can prove in court that will convince whoever's giving the ruling that you're in the right. I decided to expound, telling about actually having sat in a courtroom for traffic violation, arriving early to catch the end of a divorce, small county where family and civil things were in the same courtroom, where God went in because he had right on his side, proceed zero evidence. Proceeded to say these things out loud, and every time the opposing counsel with just objected, saying this was hearsay, and it would be removed because there was absolutely nothing to corroborate it. So she needed to be very careful about what she said out loud, posting evidence and trash talking him, or specifically refusing things like legal service on purpose online to everyone as you probably seek legal aid to make sure that everything was handled appropriately and professionally. The summary of my legal advice was, I'm not an attorney, but you don't want to go and giving the enemy everything they need to defeat you, so please speak someone else smarter than you to take care of stuff. This resulted in the entire family turning on me, telling me how they didn't need proof because they knew it happened, calling me names and just generally insulting me rather than listening to anything reasonable. So I expanded further, explaining how in this one message she has shown she is verbally and emotionally abusive, refuses to allow him to even proceed with a divorce that he has filed, and refused him access to their children, very specifically giving them things because, as she said, she does not need anything from him and is better without him. With this document alone, he can go into court and present the argument that he didn't abandon her, but was driven away by extreme emotional and verbal abuse. Could probably slide in there is physical abuse, since the other do exist, that he did his best to provide for those kids, but she refused all care, assistance, and support, and that he has been wanting to divorce for quite some time, but she refuses to cooperate whatsoever. As it appears, she's going to go in there over emotional, not listening to me, and expect to just be able to say things that happened without anything to back it up, and they going to ignore it. She's going to get flustered, and she's going to become stupid on the stand, and she's going to end up validating it. That was about 5 months ago. Remember how I said she had tagged him in the post too? I can't exactly confirm what was said or anything because I didn't follow it after that day, but his daughter had found the whole thing quite funny, and especially since I was just trying to make sure she wasn't fed over and she wanted to be a jerk. But he printed it off with all the comments and basically used it as his playbook in court. She was verbally abusive to me. The emotional strain was too much. I had to leave, and then I attempted to do my best as a man, but she refused to allow me because, according to her, she did not need my help. I've been wanting to divorce for a long time, but any time I tried to brought it up, the way she acted made me fear repercussion. Here is this document helping to establish this. She made statements, and he said, objection, hearsay. Do you have any evidence corroborate that story? And nothing more, resulting in almost everything she said being discarded, causing her becoming flustered and screaming on the stand. Due to her not needing his help and being better off without him, she was denied all back owed child support. The judge took into the consideration her abuse, claims that she's better off than him, and how she did not want the divorce apparently, but he did, and her forcing him to stay married, and he got a decent chunk out of her assets. I'm in a separate property state where anything you had before the marriage is yours, and typically the judge reviews anything you gain after the separation to be yours, although since technically you remarried, they can distribute that. The legal theory is it's equally distributed, but obviously legal practice, they tend to lean a little bit towards whichever side might need it more if one side is very clearly abusive or wronged. He's not rich off of it, but it's a definite insult to injury. Since then, my friend has said apparently her family is pissed at me and her stepsister wants to kill me. Pretty sure she was just saying it like you do whenever you're really upset, but you never know these days, so I am being a little careful. Till gave the generic legal advice of removing a stupid post from Facebook and seeking legal aid in a divorce. Original poster and family decided to attack me, so I described how it could possibly be used in a court to make her look really bad. The soon-to-be ex-husband was tied in the post and used to that exact post as I described in divorce, receiving a higher distribution of assets than she did. Thanks for listening. Don't forget to like, subscribe, smash the bell, and whatever else our YouTube overlords require nowadays.